Hello everyone and welcome back to Harry Potter Folklore. So, I hope you've all been enjoying the videos so far this year. Today's video is going to be a discussion about how Alastor Moody ended up with Gellert Grindelwald's magical eye. So this is a video I'm revisiting due to some new theoretical thoughts that have crossed my mind. So, before the small minority of comment warriors start voicing your "another YouTuber made this video before you did." No, they didn't. I made it first in 2017. I can't believe I have to actually disclose something like that, but this is the age we live in. Leave me alone. Anyway guys, I know I'm not the only one who noticed that Grindelwald's eye was very similar to the magical eye that Alastor Moody had, and what I plan to do today is link the two together and work out how Grindelwald originally got hold of it, then how he lost it, and how it ended up with Alastor himself. So as I said, it's going to be a pretty theoretical video today, as there is little to no information on this topic, and J.K. Rowling, being J.K. Rowling, still fails to shed some light on things she's created. Man, you know something? I wish Harry Potter could be expanded like the Star Wars series has. I mean, Disney has just nailed it. How awesome would the world of Harry Potter be if we had spin-offs from characters' lives? I mean, how many of you would tune into the Weasley's TV series, all about the family's individual lives, what they were doing, maybe a guest appearance from Harry? But anyway, let's not veer off topic. We are talking about a magical eye and not a Weasley TV show, unfortunately. So Gellert Grindelwald has two different coloured eyes for a reason. Now, in any other circumstance or any other individual, you'd probably think it's the condition known as heterochromia, which is the presence of two different coloured eyes in a human, but obviously with it being the wizarding world, his eyes have to be different for a reason, surely. Most likely due to creative input if we step outside of the world. Inside of the world, it appears as if Grindelwald had either lost an eye in battle or he physically removed it himself. Why would he do such a thing? Well, it must be a pretty special eye for him to do something like that. I've seen arguments for his eye being non-magical, just a normal eye that was a different colour, which was most likely as a result of the condition I just mentioned a moment ago, and I'm aware that it's probably the line of thought that the majority of you guys will lead with, and that's okay. Since we don't really know, I'm just going to assume he removed it himself, but you can choose whatever version of this story you want. The most important thing to note is that it's for the purpose of this video that he has a magical eye, or I'm going to give him a magical eye. It's all theoretical. And at least accept the fact that it's not a normal eye anyway. Then I'll get to how I believe it ended up with Mad Eye Moody. So let's get into my theory about how Grindelwald got the eye in the first place. As we know, he was a wizard who believed in myths, as the story of anything mythological has to begin somewhere. It has to have some truth to its origin, even if that truth became exaggerated over the course of time. The Deathly Hallows, for example, hadn't been seen by anyone for so long that it got to the point where there was a huge question mark on their existence. Grindelwald not only believed they were real, but banked his whole plan for world domination on retrieving them and using the Hallows to achieve his goals. There is a mythological artifact known as the Eye of Odin, which has been lost to the world. This is the eye from the Norse god Odin, who sacrificed it in order to gain a more sacred level of wisdom in return. Now, there's many interpretations on what the eye does for the wearer, but my favourite and the one that most likely suits and ties into this theory is that he who wears the Eye of Odin will have a divine perception of the future. And what additional power did Grindelwald have? You've guessed it, he was a seer. It is my belief that the source of Grindelwald's predictions came from Odin's eye, or his magical eye, combined with his natural born ability to channel predictions or prophecies. As we know, a seer cannot always channel them there and then, right on point, on demand. I think the eye allowed Grindelwald to stabilize the unpredictability of his own predictions. It was magical all the same, so it allowed him to see through walls, zoom into angles incredibly far away, and even see through invisibility cloaks. It could rotate if he wanted it to, but he chose not to, and I'm glad he didn't, as it always gave Alastor Moody a more kind of comedic look, if I'm honest. And yeah, I know it was kind of the intention of the eye too, but I just didn't really like how it's, you know, twisted and turned all over. And no, I think it was something that Grindelwald didn't want to draw too much attention to, especially due to the actual power of the eye and what it represents. When Grindelwald and Dumbledore had their famous duel, which was said to last for more than 3 hours, that's a lot of time to be dueling someone. I mean, just on a side note guys, can you imagine how draining that must be? To spend 3 hours attacking, defending, and dodging spells, all the while trying to figure out the best way to defeat an opponent that is appearing unbeatable. Anyway, during this battle, Dumbledore was victorious, and as we know, as the victor, he became the new master of the Elder Wand, the first Hallow Grindelwald ever found. I think that after his capture, he had his magical eye taken from him also by Dumbledore and seen it kept for some time. Dumbledore had little use for it, but knew the power it possessed and what it could do. It is clear as day that the eye was a one-off, a one-of-a-kind. It was a very rare piece of magic. So I believe Dumbledore then stored this for a number of years until the time came where the individual came that he could pass it on to. That man was Alastor Moody, one of the greatest aurors of the age of all time, and argued by some to be unrivaled by any auror before him. He had it all: speed, agility, knowledge, unrivaled dueling skills. He had it all guys, unbelievable. He was responsible for filling half the cells of Azkaban with Death Eaters and criminals alike. Then, during the First Wizarding War, he loses an eye along with his leg and is left with numerous scars from the blows of dark magic. He receives the magical eye from Dumbledore, and it in turn leads him to becoming an even more powerful auror. He can see from all directions, left, right, up, down, and even through the back of his head. The eye actually allowed him to be more aware of attacks and gave him a better viewing dimension during battle. I mentioned it briefly, but it's interesting to note that Moody's eye had the ability to see through even Harry Potter's cloak of invisibility, which, according to legend, granted the owner true invisibility. It's possible, however, that this particular ability of the cloak remained inactive for generations, since knowledge of the Deathly Hallows is scarce at best and only activated once Harry realised his heirloom's true power. It may be that the cloak itself was not necessarily more powerful than the others of its kind, though its magic was undeniably more resilient, and it's possible its powers were exaggerated in legend. This may be supported by the other times Harry was detected while wearing the cloak, such as Albus Dumbledore. He was able to see Harry through the cloak when he silently cast a Homenum Revelio spell, and also Harry's icon being shown on the Marauder's map. So that kind of calls into question the true power of all the Hallows, or it could just be that the eye was incredibly powerful in itself. Anyway guys, as I said, this video was going to be pretty theoretical. I'm hoping it stirs a good discussion in the comments section below. Let me know your opinions on the eye's origins too. Make sure to give this video a like, it really helps my content grow, and I'll see you all very soon.